spend all our own money for gas and food and things like that.
Yeah. Now, you know what? What I didn't even think of is I think we may be live. Why is my camera not responding? Mic check. Are we live? Is it? It's just for some reason it's not responding to me, but it's okay. I think we're good. I think we're in the frame. Let's make sure that we're live. Mic check 1 2. Seeing if we're live. Mic check 1 2. Okay, so we are live on YouTube, and I'm sure we're live on Periscope and Facebook as well. So I am here with Amanda.
Hello.
How are you? We're at the teacher strike. This is the third day that it's going on. We are on the west side of Los Angeles. This is, West Los Angeles, close to, I always kind of identify this area like with Santa Monica just because I'm not from here. But we're over here, and this is a junior middle school, Daniel Webster Middle School. And can you explain to us what you guys are doing here and what's been going on with the strike so far?
Oh yeah, definitely. So we are on the third day of our strike, like he was saying, and as of right now. There we go. And as of right now, we're here. This is a regional, so we're split up into our sub-districts of LAUSD, and we're striking here. Before we're striking as a whole UTLA, so you might have seen the pictures on the news and things like that. The main things we're striking for are smaller class sizes, more resources in our schools, nurses full-time at every school. We are only getting a nurse a week, and that's like an iffy at every school. We are asking for the end of privatization of LAUSD. We do have some amazing charters out here, but unfortunately those charters are taking our resources and taking a lot of the things that should be going to the public schools. So we are fighting for the end of privatization and instead for charters and public schools to work on equal ground together in LAUSD.
So you mentioned that you guys get nurses once a week. So what does that mean? I don't know why I was under the assumption that there's nurses in the schools all the time. Is that not the truth?
It is not, unfortunately. You would think. Unfortunately, one nurse is assigned to probably 5 different sites maybe at a time. We only have one nurse a week at my site, so if anything happens when the nurse isn't there, they just give them an ice pack and say, I hope you feel better. And that is how it is done in LAUSD, is ice packs and a nurse a week.
So that's for kids in junior high and elementary school. Wow. Now, mind you, if you're just at home and something happens to your children, what needs to be done and the attention that needs to happen, and this is all they have for them, and once a week, what does Wednesday matter if someone busts their head on Monday?
I know. Yeah, exactly. And we've actually had a student break their arm on campus with no nurse, and it was very trying, and the parents were very upset, of course. We didn't have any way to take care of the child because the nurse wasn't there. All we could tell them is lie down and wait for your parent. So we really need nurses on campus, not just for the injuries, but also we have students with daily health needs. We have students that have diabetes that need insulin. We have a lot of things that our children need that they aren't able to get on a daily basis because there's no nurse.
That is crazy. Yeah, he just had to lay there and wait. You know, for the past, since October, I have a pinched nerve right in my neck, and it's been very difficult and painful. And I'm a grown man.
Yeah.
I can only imagine for a kid how painful that is, and nothing can happen but you sit there.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah, no, it's awful. It really is. So those are one of the many things we're asking for. We also don't have full-time librarians. We only get a librarian every other week. So when the librarian's not there, our library is closed. So you can imagine that is closing off literacy to our children. So us teachers are funding our own classroom libraries. We put our own money into our classroom libraries, but we do not have the money or time to buy all the books we'd like. Our library is an essential source at our school sites, but unfortunately they are closed when the librarian isn't there. So that is another thing we are asking for, full-time librarians at every school site.
So how much do you think, I was looking this up and I couldn't really pinpoint an actual number, but is there a statistic on the average? Because I've dated a few teachers, and like we were talking about earlier, that they have kind of the same, and they all live in different states, and they kind of have the same complaint. especially, and one of them is spending their own money. Do you know, like, on an average, like, how much a teacher would spend just to, not for extra things, just to be able to get through a school year?
I can say that teachers probably spend an average of $500 to $1,000. I know for me, we lack essential resources at our school a lot of time. Paper is something that I have had to buy out of my own pocket. I mean, like copy paper. So different basic necessities that you would expect to be at a school are not always there. So those are just basic things that we would need to buy for our school and for our classrooms. So I know 1,000 is kind of, 500 to 1,000 is roughly what you would spend on average for things like that are necessities.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. $1,000 for some people is rent. It's a car note. It's a lot, and it's not just because it's 2019 doesn't mean it like $1,000 is nothing. For a lot of people, it's a lot. And if you think about how you guys, how like the monetary. How you guys don't even make the money that you're supposed to be making in 2019. You know what I'm saying? The price of living is going up, but you guys are staying stagnant. And you take that into consideration and also adding the amount of money that they have to spend just to do their job. Not for a uniform that they need to actually work, you know, you work at a warehouse or something, you got to get a uniform or whatever. No. This is things that's supposed to already be provided, but because the teachers care about what they're doing, and they care about the children, even though I can imagine how frustrating it would be for you to feel like no one has your back, but you still, it's these kids and it's not their fault. And you still have to like help them and make sure you can get this done as much as possible.
Yes, definitely. Like, we are out here fighting for our students. We're not fighting for more money, as some might have you to believe. Yes, we are asking for more money, but they put that on the table, but nothing else. Like, they said, oh, we'll give you that raise, but we're not going to give you nurses. We're not going to give you librarians. We're not going to stop the privatization. And we were like, no, we need something better for our students. We don't just want money. So we actually rejected that offer and said, no, we're going to fight for our students. So that's really what this strike is about. And that's it really, I think, separates it, because we are out here fighting for less testing, classroom sizes to be reduced, and all the other things I've mentioned, because those are a priority in our eyes as teachers, because then more learning can happen and we could have a better future for our students and for this country.
For sure. Now, I understand how assholes can be, and that's probably why she tried to put it back or make it seem less significant. But money is a significant thing. It really is. And you have to be compensated. I think teachers should be paid way more. You guys are molding the future. And I don't say this in a cliche way. Like, they're actually dictating who runs this country, you know, in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years. And early childhood education is a real fucking thing. And if people are not inspired, provoked, and they won't inspire the children, it just won't happen. Everyone has a line, and if you get too frustrated and you feel like no one has, at some point you're going to throw your hands up. Like,
yeah. No, yeah, definitely. Like, we, you know, I love education, and our profession is an amazing, I mean, it's an amazing thing, like, that if you think back on history, that we have this thing that's called free public education. Yeah. Like, that's an amazing thing, and it's a very new idea. We have to also remember that it is a new idea. It's still a growing idea, and it's also the last place of, in a way, of democracy, because reason why we're asking for a stop of privatization is because school boards are a democratic process. We vote those people in, and those people come from our community, and so those community members then make decisions for our school. If it's privatized, we won't have any say. Community members won't have a say, and you could look at New Orleans and see what has happened there, and know that that could be the future of LAUSD if we don't stop that.
You know, it's funny because before I actually did research, and I did this research like years ago, just about privatizing schools, because how I was where I was raised, it was, privatizing. I mean, going to a private school was like, you're smart, you know. Oh, you're good going to a private school, and I can understand how a lot of people impoverished communities can think that, because impoverished communities are so underfunded. I remember as a child, I used to have to share a book. You know what I mean? That if they can get themselves into a school that's private, it's like, oh, okay, my kid can have a better education. But what these private schools are doing now is they're kind of like having a monopoly in the game. You know what I mean? They're able to just come in, and then if I'm not mistaken, money is being shifted from like the public schools to the private schools, right?
Yeah, like you can actually, there's a great segment from John Oliver that actually talks about the business surrounding charter schools. But basically, a company will come in and run a charter school because most charter schools are not associated with the district. They're separate. So yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of money involved, and since the community is not involved, they can basically sell things to the school, the private or the charter school. Is how it can work. And so, like I said earlier, it's
like
really
private prisons, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Like
You make, if people are able to make money in private prisons, it's going to be corruption, and it's just going to go crazy.
Yeah. No, and it's like, I mean, you might, like, that's one thing they pointed out is California is the #1 in incarceration in the nation. What does that say about our education system, especially the second largest district in the nation, that our state is the #1? Like, that's really something we need to stop and think about and say, okay, what are we doing wrong with education? And what are we doing in terms with our schools to continue to segregate them, to continue to police our students, and continue to cause them to not have a future, basically.
And also Harris County in Texas, 89 deaths in police custody pre-trial. And those are all privatized jails, not prisons. They're privatized county jails in Harris County. In custody, 89. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 89 or 79 deaths in 2017. So we understand what it's about. And it's, tell me, I was reading something about the testing, and how does testing relate to the public schools? The testing in the public schools, how does that relate to the private schools? Like, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. This one, I don't have too many facts to say, but I can tell you like the generalizations of it. Is that LAUSD tests about 18 tests in the public schools, and that's in elementary. So just imagine like 3rd, 4th, and 5th being tested. And it takes up a lot of learning time. They're holding public schools to that standard. They're not holding private schools to that. So private schools are not expected to do as many tests as the public schools are expected to. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I had a for some reason, I guess I misunderstood the article. I had an article that I was reading was talking about how, I don't know, I guess something with the testing, like all the it's almost like they're trying to be measured up to these private schools or something like that. Was it something? That's
definitely a part of it too. I mean, the test itself is, I mean, we could go into the whole testing relationship, but
they have a lower standard, don't they? They're not even regulated, the private,
exactly.
Right?
What we're asking is for regulations of the private and the charters, because then we can start working together with those charters. We can start working together as public and charter schools, because like I said, there are amazing charter schools, and I really, we don't want to make it a battle between public and charter. It's really about LAUSD stepping up and taking ownership of this plate of our district, and taking ownership of education, and taking ownership of the problems in our system, because there's many problems and we need to start fixing them. Wow,
so that's great. If you can tell me, like, thinking about your classroom, like, what are things in your classroom right now that the children are, because it's really, I'm saying you, but it's all about the children. Like, what are things in your classroom right now? I was speaking to a friend, and she was talking about her board. It's supposed to be a smart board, but it doesn't work. She ended up having to use it. It's just an inconvenience because of how they have to clean it, because it's just not made for what, you know, she needs to use it for, because it's broke. Yeah. So she's trying to, like, manipulate it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, and at our site, it's really just basic resources. Okay. Having financial money to provide so we can get stuff for our curriculum, because the pedagogy shows that we need to be teaching to the child, not the curriculum to the child. We should be forming the curriculum around the child, you know? So we should not be handing out textbooks and saying, we're going to read this passage. So our site is really trying to move away from the textbook, but it's very difficult to do when we don't have any resources to go and purchase the things we need to make that learning possible. So there's that aspect as well. And then honestly, like, it would be great if teachers just got money to build their classroom libraries. I purchase books every month for my students because I believe that reading is power, and I believe that every child should become a lifelong reader and learn what that means for themselves. So I really promote literacy in my classroom, and I do it all out of pocket. So, and I know a lot of teachers do. So just knowing that that's coming from teachers. If you walk into a classroom and you see books all over and you're like, wow, that's amazing. It's amazing because the teacher went out and bought them. It is not amazing because LUSD provided those funds. So just knowing like we're trying to move to better pedagogy, we're trying to move to better practices, but we can't because we're not getting the funding for the training or the funding for the resources.
Right. So what's the emotional and I guess social toll on the children? Thinking about not having the resources, thinking about 45 children in one class. I thought the maximum was 36 or something like that.
It's supposed to be 32 in
30.
third through fifth, 32, and then middle school, I believe it's 36 to 40. I think it might be less, because I know high school is 40.
So tell me, what's the social toll like on a child that's in a class that's really obviously way too big for all 45 to concentrate the focus for you to even get their attention. They're children. That's just a part of working with children is getting their attention back.
Yeah.
What's the toll on the children when you have to deal with like an overpopulated class?
Well, really, then you lose instruction. That's really what it comes down to, because you're trying to get their attention. You want to get their attention, but then also you are not able to have all the time you need or to have those small groups or that differentiated instruction that we know is so critical to learning. So that is being lost when we have overcrowded classrooms, because it'll take an extra 2 minutes for them to come to the floor for the lesson, and then it'll take an extra 5 because you have a couple chatterboxes over in the corner and you have to like bring their attention back so they know what to do. And then because your classroom's overcrowded, you're also probably missing a few desks. You're probably missing a couple chairs. I know I have one kindergarten teacher that I know that she's short a couple chairs in her classroom. So they don't even have a place to sit. So then there's that sense of belonging of like, I don't feel like I belong because I don't even have a spot. So there's definitely this lack of resources. So it's really hard to continue to build that community then.
Wow, that's crazy. Jesus Christ. It's crazy. I mean, I've been through it, but I have that. I guess it gives me more empathy for for the children, because I know what LA Unified School District and Compton School District did to me, and because of all those insecurities in the school, I didn't get the early childhood education that I needed, and it really made me very insecure as an adult, but even as a child. Like we were talking about earlier when we was on the phone, like it got to a point where I wouldn't try, because if I didn't try, then I can act tough like I just didn't give a fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, no. And then it didn't matter. I'm not taking ownership for like not knowing or not feeling that I'm smart. Yeah. I'm just acting like I don't care because I don't have to do it. Like that really can affect the kid throughout the rest of their life, because I know it definitely did with me for a while until I took the responsibility and did it myself. Yeah.
No, and that's why we are moving towards changing our pedagogy to focus on the child and the whole child, not just focus on we need to teach to this standard. But it's really hard to do that when you have people constantly saying, teach to the test. You got to get the better score. You got to do this. Oh, you need to teach with this type of curriculum. And it's like, no, that doesn't work. So that's like also what we're fighting for.
That's great. I think that's always been the best idea. A lot of kids are frustrated. We were in Chicago talking to some kids about school, and their frustrations were real. They was like, no, they just have this standardized way of teaching, and that's not how I learn. Yeah, exactly. And I think that approach in itself, the initiative to take that approach, like it should be based on one, like, and we know this, right? That's why we do it in college. That's why we do it in college, because we know, kids will do better in things that they're more interested in,
Exactly.
Because none of us use the majority of the shit that we learn.
Yeah, no, right? You got to go after their own passions, and that's all about the relationship that you build, the community you build within your classroom. And once you build that, you really can help teach to the child. You can help build the curriculum around them rather than throwing it at them. So
that is amazing. So this is day 3. This is Wednesday. Everybody's Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this, but just tell me, where do we go from here? What's the outcome that you would like to see, and what you think the likely outcome would be?
I'd like to see all our demands being met. I know that's not completely possible, just because of how rigid LAUSD has been in negotiations, and the fact that Austin Buettner has not always come to the table during negotiations. He is coming to the table in the next couple days. They're open to negotiations. The LA mayor has been getting involved, so that has really helped push things forward. I honestly can't really say what the likely outcome will be, because it's been so back and forth with Buettner and LAUSD. They've offered some things and then not others, and they've offered other things and then not the ones they offered before. So it's been so back and forth, I can't really say, but our goal is to fight for all these things we're asking for, and even if we don't get all of them the first time, we're going to keep fighting for them in the future. So. All
right, well, perfect. Well, Amanda, thank you. By the way, you guys, this is Amanda. This is Colin's sister. You know, Colin, the one that hooks us up when I'm like busy doing stuff. We appreciate you, player, and we appreciate you coming out and helping us out. All right, thank you. And it's nice meeting you. Give me a hug. And I will see. Hopefully, I guess I'll call you on Thursday, because I'm gonna be out there Friday as well. Yeah, and then.
Can I just plug in my Instagram?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want to plug this in because I'm actually putting up Venmos of teachers that you can support and fund. So we are out here, we're not getting paid, and we are having to, buy our own coffee, buy our snacks, buy our food, because we're not in the classroom. We don't have a refrigerator to put our lunch in anymore. So I'm on @growing with Mrs. T on Instagram, and if you also go to @teach and transform, I'm doing an Instagram stories on there, keeping everyone updated on what's going on right now at the strike. So follow us on there, and you can get all the updates going on through the strike, as well as ways to support us. And wear red for Ed. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully Jordan is taking notes and on the social media right now. But just in case you went a little fast, say it again so they can hear.
It's @growing with Mrs. T, and then @teach and transform.
And you guys support, and they do support. They've been supporting us. This is a supportive group of people. So this is probably Jordan texting me. He's going to let me know whether he got it or not. So I want to make sure that it's in the, yeah. Ask could the teachers in LA have learned anything from the ones on strike in West Virginia and Oakland? Okay.
Okay, I'll answer Jordan's question. Sorry.
So the question was, did you guys learn anything from the teacher strike in West Virginia and Oklahoma that you, I guess, assuming applied here, or are going to apply, or things that you were able to troubleshoot and make it better?
That's more UTLA can answer that, but I know from our talks that they learned a lot just from their strike. Like our strike, we made sure to keep parents informed. We make sure to keep the community informed. We didn't just jump into it. So that's really what we learned, is that we need community support, which we've gotten. They may act like, oh, students are showing up. We're down in attendance. We have 700,000 students, and only 135,000 showed up. So we're really making the community aware, and the community is out here supporting us. That's great,
and I appreciate that. And I was talking to my Uber driver, and she was telling me, and I had read an article about the amount of money the schools lose. I'm like, yes, good for them. They need to lose it, because that's the only way they're going to listen, is if you touch their pockets. You don't touch their pockets, they don't give a fuck about you. That's the reality. When you touch their pockets, I would hope not. I really wish that none of the and this probably sounds crazy, but I only say this because they're selfish. Think of the school district as your government, and think of the union as your people. Like, look at it in that aspect. They're selfish. That's why when you see in Black Lives Matter protests, where do they go? They go to malls. They take the money away, because they'll listen when you take the money. Social, who cares? But you start taking my money, then we got something to say, right?
Yeah. You need action behind your words, and that's like what we talk about in my class a lot too. Is you need to be an activist, you need to be an ally, you need to actually speak up and use your voice. And I tell my students, like, your voice matters, it has power, so start using it. So yeah.
Well, thank you. I won't keep you, because I'll keep you another 30 minutes. So I'll hit you up, and I'll see you Friday. All right. Thank you, Amanda. All right. So like I said earlier. We're here. I am kind of under this because we don't have a case for our camera. Damn, my exposure all down. We don't have a case for the camera, so I am trying to stay out of the sun right now, but we are in front of Daniel Webster Middle School. They just had a huge, when I first walked up, I thought it was, I thought like Power 106 is the radio station out here was here, but they're not. It was just hella teachers, because initially what Amanda told me were today and tomorrow that all the teachers are going to their schools. What they do in the morning, they go to the schools that they teach at. They protest as the parents drop the students off, and then they meet up at a central, not a central location for their subdivision inside their district. So right here, this is West LA. So this is the subdivision. So you have about, 5 or 6 schools will meet up here, and then at the end of when the parents are picking their children up, then they'll come back and make sure that the parents see them while they're protesting. And I think I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with, he said wipe the lens off. The lens? I guess the lens is, I ain't gonna wipe it off right now. I gotta leave the frame to wipe it off. Hopefully you guys can see me. I think you can see me. He made me lose my thought. And he loves to text me. And to push folks, you guys don't forget that we have our membership is going up. So if you guys want to become a monthly member and help support the reporting in the field, as you can see, I'm getting all these notes from Jordan. Obviously, I'm not used to going live, but I'm going to start going live more. But, support our reporting, support what we're doing in the field, become a member, become a monthly supporter, so we can have that guaranteed monthly income, and we can guarantee to be out and trying to just give you the news, like we've been doing for the past 6 months, like Jordan had been doing for the past 2 years when he was with the Turks. So continue to support us. You guys have been supporting us in an amazing way, and we definitely appreciate it. Right now, it just looks like now I get hella like a little anxious about my volume. The other day, everybody was like, "You loud, Ty, you loud." I'm not loud. I'm passionate, player. I'm passionate about this shit. I want to read the article to you guys, but I think it seemed like it's dying out. I'm going to see if I can reframe so you guys can see the exactly where we are. Okay. So this is Webster. This is Webster Middle School right here, and this is, like I said, on the west side of LA. And middle school is from 6th to 8th grade. I think that's what it is. That's what it was when I was in school, 6th to 8th grade. And that's where we are right now. You guys can still see some news stations are here in the rain. I don't have an umbrella, so I have to have the camera under this so we can make sure, because we don't have a budget like that. We can't allow no rain to damage anything. But I wanted to read the article because I think Vox did like a really good article. And there's a lot of information in the article. And even inside the article, they have a lot of links to go to see more information about it. But to me, they're not. I think I know there was a reporter in the L.A. Times, which is a fucking joke, and you can tell he was biased. And we just found out. I think the guy that used to own L.A. Times, I think it just so like works for the L.A. Unified School District or have some type of connection. But say, oh, there's a lot of hyperbole. It just needs to be more compromise and moderation. Compromise and moderation. The last time there was a strike was 30 years ago. How much fucking moderation do you need? That's what I would like to know. What do you want me to do? I'm tired of it. Think about it. Every time it's always moderation. Why? Why? Because you don't want to pay it? If we were going to war, you would find some way to get that money. You'll figure that money out, right? If you need a tax cut, you'll find that money. You'll take it from social welfare or something like that. Take people's Social Security. You'll find a way to get that money if you want to give more money to corporations. We won't argue that point. We'll figure it out. You can always figure it out when it comes to war or when it comes to tax breaks or when it comes to anything that has to do with the minority of people who has the majority of the money in this country want. We can figure out how to work that out. But when it comes to education, we don't know. Even when it comes to children, I don't know how we're going to get the money. Can't figure that out. Fuck them. That's really what you're saying. And in this case right now, this is why you need unions. This is why you need unions. Because if you didn't have unions, the school district will fuck them like the government fucks us. Period. That's why you need to have someone fighting for you. That's why 2020 is important. That's why voting is important. You want somebody that's fighting for you, not fighting for a corporation, not fighting for some special interest that donated some amount of money to their campaign. So now they're indebted to their donor instead of their constituents. But I am going to go to the east side now, and that's the eastern part of Los Angeles. Hopefully I can find some black people right now. This is the west side. So this is the side that, this is like by UCLA, a lot of money over here. So it's the majority of non-black and non-Hispanic here. And they all got the same problems, but I do know in South Central, it's even worse. You think about it. This is a rich area. This is a wealthy area. If it's bad here, it's worse there because it was worse when I was growing up. You know what I mean? So they don't have the resources here because they get the last they get whatever's left in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? They don't get the Heineken. They get the OE 800, Old English. That's real talk. And so I want to get over there and to see, maybe I'm wrong. You know, historically speaking, I'm sure I'm right because this is not the first time that I've engaged in this conversation. It's always been an issue, like I told you earlier. It's always been an issue with me because of early childhood education. My parents, you know, it wasn't a priority for them, so they continued to just let me. I mean, it was years that would go by, like, you know, a year at a time, where my parents were like, we didn't get a report card from you this year. They'll, like, realize that they never got a report card because I was hiding them because I wasn't doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody was, it was just frustrating. It was hella people in the class. It was just yelling. My teacher had to spend time. My teacher, really, I think it was my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Williams, started throwing people, started throwing desks. But that's how he kept us in line. And to me, he's the teacher that I remember the most. I learned the most out of his class. He was aggressive, but he was aggressive probably because he understood the environment and he cared. I don't think that's the proper way. Only thing I can say is that worked out. I don't think it's the proper way at all. For us, it worked out, though. I think he's the only teacher that him and Miss Kern, my 4th grade teacher, because she was, like, really sweet. She was, like, she really, like, cared about it. I remember her, like, talking to me. I never had a grown-up kind of talking to me about what I wanted. And I remember not even knowing how to answer her because I wasn't allowed to have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we are going to head. What time is it right now? Because they left early. I thought they was going to be here for a minute. Oh, so you still got some teachers there. So we're going to end up going, maybe important to bring up to the audience, L.A. Mayor Eric Garner has planned to run for president. Eric Garnett, I don't think he's mayor right now, player, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's mayor right now. But Jordan said Mayor Eric Garcetti is running for mayor. I don't think he's mayor right now. Is it? Well, he's running for mayor. But honestly, he's running for president. But I don't, I'm pretty sure. Because the mayor just, look that up for me. He said, great. He being sarcastic right now. Let me see what his smart ass saying. Now, I understand Garcetti, but is he the mayor right now? I thought somebody just took that from him. Look it up right quick. Still mayor. I just read an article on him, but I could have sworn I thought the lieutenant. Oh, the mayor. I'm tripping. I'm thinking the governor, dog. My bad. I'm thinking the governor. I'm like, I thought the lieutenant governor last year became governor this year. But I'm thinking the governor. You're right, Garcetti. Yeah, for sure. He's not going to win. So you dumb as fuck. That's Jordan. I was thinking of the governor. My bad. But yeah, so I know the governor is drafting legislation. I was reading for I think it's $206 billion for education. Right now, they have 100. If I'm not mistaken, it's 116 billion in 116. I'm sorry, 1.6 billion in reserve. If I'm not, I think they have 1.6 million in reserve, and I think this is one of the arguments that the union is saying, like they have the money in reserve, and I think the district is saying no, that those funds are already thumbnailed for something else. Everything is already thumbnailed. You know, it's crazy. But let me see. I had this article that I wanted to read. I was going to wait until we got somewhere else. But Vox did a really good article on this a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, talking about the everything, the stagnant wages, what they want, and things like that. I want to read that, but I think I want to try. It's almost 2 o'clock, so I want to try to. I mean, it's almost 12 o'clock. I want to try to see if I can get to the east side before it started raining too hard, because if it's no cover over there, then I'm not going to be able to go live. So I'm going to try to get over there so we can see if it's still popping over there. And we'll be live hopefully in the next hour. It's hella traffic right now. And it's 12 o'clock. I want to get there before like 1 so we won't hit no traffic there. We can get there and come right back. All right. Peace.